Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm Hala Jaber from the English department at the Islamic University. Today I'm going to present you a presentation about how was Henry's V character portrayed and its relationship to the themes of the play. For those who haven't read this play yet, let me quickly tell you a little bit about it. About the play. Henry V becomes the King of England after the death of his father. He actually decided to invade France to claim the throne he believed should be his after an insult from the French Dauphin. During the play, we will see him give powerful speeches and wins battles against the odds, but in the end of the play, he marries the Princess of France, linking the two nations, England and France. You should know that this play, Henry V play, actually follows the event of Henry IV play. So, if we want to understand Henry V character during this play, we must follow the changes that happened to him during the previous plays. In Henry IV, Part 1 and Part 2, he was depicted as a wild young prince that enjoyed drinking and socializing with commoners. His actions actually have got so out of the control that he has been banned from the king's council. He's quick-witted as he also has the calming touch. He was able to make a friend with anyone. He enjoys wordplay, mockery, tales, and stories, and this actually could tell us a little bit about how irresponsible he is. He's an excellent soldier. Despite his reckless behavior, he loses his sense of humor during the battles. He loves his father a lot more than he tends to let on, but here I should make a point that he's not the king yet, so he pretended to be immoral so that he would impress his subjects by being a good man in the moment he took the power. In Henry V play, Shakespeare realized he needed to show Henry V as a strong and a great king to reflect well on monarchy and also on war. Here, he's a bias and believes God to be on his side. We meet the king for the first time as he seeks advice from the churchmen about the principle of going to war with France. He said, "We are no tyrant but Christian king." Here, Shakespeare shows Henry is keen to know how God would view the war. He is a merciful and intelligent king. He shows as a merciful king when he released a drunken man who spoke with him unrespectfully, while we see his intelligence when he knows that some of his friends have accepted money from the French to kill him, so he decided to calm them down into a false sense of security, but in the end he murdered them. Perhaps Henry V's most remarkable quality that he is decisive and resolute. Once he has set his mind to accomplishing a goal, he uses every resource to see it done. He also presents himself as an unstoppable force. He is a good leader. He shows his good leadership during his speeches before the battles. He calls the soldiers his dear friends when he said, "One more into the breach, dear friend, one more." This actually puts the soldier on the same level as Henry, making them more willing to fight and risk their life for him. He always ready to fight to the better end. Henry presents himself as a plain and simple. When he's flirting with the French Princess Catherine, he said, "I know no way to mince it in love, but to directly say, 'I love you.'" He's not only be shown as humble, but also as honest. For the themes in the play, first we have the ruthlessness of the good king. The play explores the role of a king in general. Henry's concern is the nature of leadership and its relationship to morality. The play proposes that the qualities that define a good person are not necessarily the same quality that define a good ruler. For sure, Henry is a good leader. He is intelligent and inspiring to his men. But in becoming a great king, he forced to act in a way might seem immoral and even sometimes unforgivable in order to strengthen the stability of his throne. As an absolute ruler, he is eminently responsible, exerting his power with equal parts, strength and compassion, even though he is frequently showing mercy by reminding his advisor that serious punishment should be received only for serious crimes. On the other hand, he approves the execution of conspirators and informing them that he doesn't seek revenge against them for himself, but to preserve the kingdom's safety. As the President of England, Henry succeeded in instilling patriotism among his people, and it's an effort that requires his unflagging optimism. Even when the English troops are grimly convinced of defeat, Henry remains cheerful, refusing to admit any doubts to his people. And when his soldiers are exhausted before battles, his speeches actually stokes everyone's sense of English pride and motivate them to win the war. The second theme we have is warfare. The whole play focuses on warfare. Actually, the play begins in preparation for a battle, continues into the battlefield itself, and ends with a post-war peace treaty. The play showcases wide range of attitudes toward warfare. By offering a different perspective on the battle, at the beginning, Henry expresses wariness of war, but he is soon convinced of the justice of an attack on France. He actually decided to wage war only after he has been convinced that the war is God's will. Here, Henry prioritizes the religious aspect of war, and Captains prioritizes the history. By contrast, the perspective of ordinary soldier considers war nothing but senseless violence. The play presents an overarching vision of history by war, but one thing is certain: Henry V shows us that warfare, justifiable or not, has so devastating consequences that go beyond the horrific field casualties to generations of families, as he also describes it as the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, and the dead man's blood. Thank you so much.